The Harry Potter trading card game came out all the way back in 2001, but it was cancelled after only 5 sets. Now, despite being out for such a long time, there isn't really that much information out there about deck strategies, how to play the game, people talking about the game. There is a community out there that you can find on harrypottertcg.com. They have about 2,000 followers on their Facebook page. So it's a small community, and they are producing new sets for the game that you can play. And they have their own formats. So there's a classic format with the 5 sets that were released by Wizards of the Coast and no changes. And then they also have their revival format where they added their new sets. They added a ban list. They did some erratas, and they also allowed for a sideboard in tournament games. Anyway, I am a long-time collectible deck building game player. I started playing these games when I was 7 years old with the Pokemon TCG. Then I've been playing the Harry Potter TCG, Yu-Gi-Oh!, World of Warcraft TCG, Magic the Gathering, and Android Netrunner more recently, where I've had some competitive success. And I thought that the journey I had with the Harry Potter TCG is very interesting because it's been isolated from outside influence, but I've had time to refine decks and my understanding of the game and iterate on ideas over and over throughout these years. And I feel like I have a lot to share. So my plan is to start streaming the game and showcasing the ideas that I've come up with. Now, when I've been playing the game at home with friends and family, we found it necessary to make a few tweaks to the game. So let me explain those so that you know the context once the deck building videos come in. So the first change that I think is really important, just from a fun aspect, is that we changed the unique rule. So normally there could only be one unique card of the same kind in play. For example, if one player had Fluffy, then the other player cannot play Fluffy. This became very weird in a lot of situations, especially when both players played decks with a lot of characters, because one player could play one character and then prevent the opponent from playing the same one just by doing that. And it's not a very fun mechanic, and it hasn't really worked well in any game that tried to do it this way. For example, I think originally the legendary rule in Magic the Gathering worked like this, and they ended up changing it. So we did that as well. Now the second thing is there was a very problematic card. I wanted to stay away as much as possible from getting rid of cards from the format. But this one was so egregious that we just had to do something about it. And you can actually see in the revival formats of the official Harry Potter TCG formats, they have a ban list where this card is also banned. They have banned a few more things, and I understand the reasons for all of them, but I wanted to keep the game as untouched as possible. Now, I'm only playing with the classic sets, not with the revival sets. So bear that in mind. So back to the card. Why is it so bad? So let's have a detailed look at the card. So the card is called Caught by Snape. And when your opponent plays it, you feel about as good as Harry is over here. The effect is that your opponent can't use actions to play any cards except lesson cards, which of course is a very powerful effect because it greatly restricts what you can play. So hopefully it will be easy to solve the adventure, right? Well, on the to solve section it says your opponent uses actions to play lesson cards 3 times. Those actions don't need to be one right after the other. So that means you're dedicating at least 3 actions to solving this card, which is normally more than 1 turn, which is a lot of time. And what is our reward? Like it better be something good if it's this hard to solve the adventure, right? The reward is your opponent may put any number of lesson cards from his or her hand into play. Now, this may seem like a good reward, but your opponent will play this card when they know or will often play this card when they know you don't want to play more lessons, first of all. And also the other problem is, if you do put all your lessons into play, what will you do when they play the next Caught by Snape? You won't have any lessons left in your hand to solve the next one. So then you will have to spend actions and time drawing for more lessons so that you can get out of this bind. And so the reward is often useless because you'd rather keep the lessons in your hand to be able to solve the next Caught by Snape. And as if this wasn't bad enough, you can actually make decks that recycle this card. Like, for example, this one that I just put over my face called End of Your Feast is a card that can put adventures back into your hand. So you can actually make a deck, without going into details, you can make a deck that recycles Caught by Snape over and over. And as soon as your opponent solves it, or even before they solve it, you get another one into play. And then they will be forever stuck, not being able to do anything except playing lesson cards. And this was, clearly not very fun. And it just felt absolutely necessary to get rid of this. So that is the context for the upcoming deck building streams that I will be doing, where I will showcase decks built both from a competitive perspective and some that are more just for fun. If you're interested in tuning into this, then you can subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I will be going live. And I hope to see you there.